Take a moment to breathe in and relax. I'm so grateful to have you all here. Thank you, Shani. We're gonna dive into two of my favorite topics, the lower limit and the upper limit. While I share my screen again, you can please write to me in the chat if this is a new concept or if you heard about it before. There we go. And so, lovely. New. I've had some exposure to it before. Wonderful. So today we're going to have a brief conversation about how to identify these limits and what to do with them in order for them to change. In case you haven't met me before, this is like a fast recap over me and my life. I would say that my own journey when it comes to relationship with money began when I was a mother and realized that I had to change. And now I've been both in very alternative settings, partly thanks to Siri that is here. Hello, Siri. That put me together with Sacred Womb Festival at Ängsbacka. That's the image right to the right, where some were excited to have me there, and others were like, "Are we really gonna talk about money? Like, are we gonna make a budget? Why is she here?" And then afterwards came and said, "Thank you for showing up. This was just what I needed, and I didn't know what to expect." I've also been on TV, published my first book, and my energy work had a huge impact on my relationship with horses. So I really wanted to understand how to communicate with other species where we don't have the verbal language. And obviously, the energetic conversation, the clairvoyant conversation, is the same that goes with humans. So I have a lot to thank them. I always love to introduce my way of looking at energy work before I go into the topic of the day. And how I see energy work is the baseline is emotional intelligence. So when you feel like you're not in touch with your intuition and you don't know who you are and you don't know where you're going in life, that's because you are blocked emotionally. You are not feeling. Because when you feel, you know. When you feel your heart, you know. When you feel your belly, you know. And when you don't feel, it's because you're numb, stressed, depressed, or any other type of hardship that holds you back, really. So the first step is to observe your emotions. And then energy work becomes when you use psychic or intuitive tools to work with those emotions. And so I love this image where we have this downward spiral of different emotions. At some point, I will make my own drawing and make it horizontal, because this kind of image comes with a judgment perspective that something is bad and other things are good, which is not really how I want to put it. More that some things feel very uncomfortable and some things feel very, very nice, but it's all information. It's all information. And so what we can take from this image is that the more heavy kind of emotion that we feel, like fear, powerlessness, that everything is happening against me, or I feel very guilty or jealous, like those are low vibrational energies, which means that it's hard to change, it's hard to move, it's hard to do things because it's low density. And if we compare it then with the other image, which is the opposite, this is like high frequencies. What does it mean? It's easy to move from here. Because if you compare yourself, let's say you have a project that you want to launch, and you're either in jealousy because someone else did it better, or in passion because you love what you're given. I think you can feel for yourself where it's easy to move, change, and go. Obviously, it's from the passion, because when you're jealousy, you get stuck. So this is really what energy work starts with, observing the nuance of my experience. Not to say that, yeah, I'm a jealous person, so things doesn't move for me. No, it's like, okay, to be honest, I have some jealousy in this and it's not nice. Let me take care of it. Like, that's where we find the secret sauce to energetic transformation. And that's also why I say that I want the image to be on a horizontal line, because when it's on this side, we get to have this judgmental perspective and be like, oh, no, I'm not a jealous person. That's bad, and I'm not a jealous person. Instead of be like, yeah, to be honest, I feel that. It was not nice. Let's take care of it. And also at the same time here with this very high sensations, it can be quite exhausting to be there all the time. Like if you've ever been in love, perhaps you had that experience where you were so in love that you didn't need to eat or sleep. You had just energy to go on days for days for days for days. But at some point, you will need to rest and catch up. So, really, like all the emotional waves are super important. And I also have seen that very much depending on your astrology, this becomes even more interesting. So, as a few of my dear friends have very strong Scorpio or other water placements. For them, it's even more interesting to see what happens when they really let themselves feel the darkness. Like there's such a potency when they get to like really like feel it, express it, and release it. And then the creativity that is born from that is amazing, amazing to see. Obviously, like me, I have very little water, so I have to practice getting in touch with that, and it's very transformational for me as well. But I see a difference depending on how we're structured, really, from astrological point of view. But so this is the baseline, and I hope it makes sense. And if not, please ask a question. You can whenever write in the chat or put on your microphone and make this interactive. Thank you. Shani writes, love this difference between feeling an emotion and being an emotion. Yeah, we're actually going to talk more about identity in a little while. So I love that you're pointing that out. So that was the brief theory as an introduction. Then to make this an actual, I will continue with some theory, but I want us to go into a transformative taste of the experience as well on what's possible. And to make the transformational experience stronger, I want you all to connect to the light. And this is something that I can explain more another time. But if you have any kind of reaction like, oh, it won't work for me, or I don't know what that is, or anything like any doubts that come up, you can just take the doubt and put it on the side. And just for now, go into like play mode, like a child, like, okay, let's play the game of connecting to the light. Let's trust Nadia that she knows what she's doing, having us here connecting to the light. Or perhaps you have the reaction like, yeah, I love connecting to the light. And you connect to the light by taking a deep breath in. And you can just follow your breath and see how it moves or feel how it moves through your body. And perhaps you want to move your shoulders or hips a little bit to calm down. And from this place, you can imagine that in the sky, there is a light. See it or you not see it, it doesn't matter. There's a light that can have any color or texture or be see-through, like all is well. But what you know with certainty is that this light holds the frequencies of truth, clarity, safety, and love. Because you want to feel safe enough to see the truth and transform it with love if you want to change your lower limits and your upper limits. And so you can allow these frequencies to come through your body. It's love, it's safety, it's clarity or truth. And as you breathe, you just let it fill you up, or maybe hit you as waves, as if it was the ocean. And as the light comes to your body, you set the intention that anywhere you lied to yourself or you were afraid to see the truth, you clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. Anywhere you were afraid to choose love, you let go. Anywhere you didn't trust the safety, you can drop it now and let the light really move into your body. And then with 3 deep breaths, you can allow your light to expand. So if it had a color, it's inside of you, and as you breathe, it comes outside of you to the forward, backside, up and down. So you are shining this light of truth, safety, and clarity. And this is you standing in your energetic power, which is a practice that becomes stronger and stronger every time you do it. And I have a longer version to give you as well at another time. But for sake of our shared moment now, this is enough. But know that when you connect to the light, as you did now, regardless if you felt it a little, nothing, or a lot, it's very, very important. And it will enhance the transformation that you'll get to explore today. And if you have any questions that you want to elaborate later on, you can always search me up on Instagram and we'll have a chat. So from this expanded place, I bring you into our lower limit. So what is a lower limit? A lower limit is a pattern that you don't appreciate, but still comes back in your life again and again and again. It is a pattern that might be painful, but on some level, you still accept this. Because for some level, you think that this is necessary or out of your control. And this could absolutely be connected to yourself, how you see yourself. Like, I'm this kind of person that always experience it. I mean, in dating, this is such a common thing that you hear people say, why do I always attract this type of men? Or maybe you have this with clients. Why do I always attract this type of clients? Or you have it. I had a client recently who told me that she rarely buys new clothes, but when she does, they always breaks. Like, what is that? That's such a random thing. Why is that happening to her? Or perhaps you have it when it comes to money, that you save into a certain amount and then something happens, so you lose the money or you spend the money, or maybe you are impulsive and can't control yourself more. A lower limit could also be that you don't like your job, but you're afraid to change because your view of the world is that it's unsafe. And you know that your current job is safe. You don't like it, but it's safe. And changing is not safe because you can't trust the world. That's one point of the world view. Or the lower limit could simply be a relationship to your money, that you choose a life with less resources because more money is evil, more money is bad, more money will give you more responsibilities, more money will have you taking care of all your family or whatever it could be. So take a moment now and ask yourself, what is a low limit, a repetitive experience that you have in your life that you're done with. And if you want to share in the chat, that's amazing, because that means I can guide you specifically in this moment together. And also, most likely, we share uh, lower limits, or gets inspired and remember certain part of our own lower limits. For instance, when it comes to a lower limit, when it comes to identity, that's where we find the topic of self-worth. What do we feel that we're worthy of? Yeah, I love this one, Shani. A big one for me right now: more money requires hard work, and hard work will deplete me. Yeah, that's such a collective truth for so many. Me as well. Uh, I I'll share something about what we can do about that. It's a lovely journey. Mm. So one thing I want you to think about, if you continue to write and put it in the chat, I'd love to read it. But one thing you can think about this when identifying the lower limit, if we check this image again, is that this is not something that you will continue to identify with. Maybe it used to be a strong identity and now you're changing it, so it's not as strong anymore. But even if it's the slightest nuance of limitation, it's a benefit to look at it. So if you and yeah, one big issue is if you carry shame around your limitation, like I should be better. I have worked so much on myself. I should be better than this, but still here I am. Like that's a part of the limitation, to be ashamed of the limitation, right? Because that really holds you down. Um, so awareness is the first step to any transformation. Like, oh wow, this is what I'm sitting with. Ingela writes, kind of that I'm not worthy of my dream life. It isn't for someone like me. Yeah, then we have the identity part. It's not something for someone like me. I love that. Thank you. So then we can first we are aware about this limitation. Like, okay, this is something I carry. And then ask yourself what stories are connected to this limitation. For instance, when it comes to working hard around the money, perhaps that's something your parents told you, or school taught you, or movies, or whatever. Like, where were you fed this truth? When I was a kid, I started to work in the stables when I was 13. And I realized like 6 years later that I was fooled. I was supposed to help out just a little bit with preparing the horses before the riding lessons, and in return, I would get to ride for free. But someone fooled me and had me come in 7 in the morning to feed the horses, take them out, give them lunch again, and like I did so much hard work until 5 in the evening or afternoon. And that was a lot for a 13-year-old. Someone else got full-time salary for that day because I did the work while I got to ride for free. So that's like a really hard a thing I carried with me, that I have to work hard for getting what I want. And so what I will give you now already to this one, because this affirmation really changed my life, is I work less and I earn more. I'm going to add this right here. I work less and I earn more. And I started to say this one before I knew what I wanted to do, before I had a side hustle, before I start to charge any money by myself. I started to say this with so much conviction that I slowly but surely got a better and better employment that really gave me more freedom and flexibility and also more money. And from that then to start to charge very little for my side hustles to then sell more high ticket versions of things I created and feel like I deserved it. So this one, I work less and I earn more, is life changing. But sometimes an affirmation is not enough because sometimes the affirmation doesn't feel true, especially if you're in activated state where the trigger is like super, super there. Then it's like this affirmation is stupid because reality is this and this and this. So what's then? Then we have the attachment to the reality that you're currently living, the attachment to the experiences that you previously had. And then you have to ask yourself, where does this feel important to reinforce? Most likely it's validating something inside of you, maybe the inner child that wasn't seen or heard. And this reality is confirming that it was really hard for me back then. And now I'm getting some kind of like, yeah, you had a rough time. I understand you sensation. But it's time to ask, am I ready to let this go? Am I ready to see this from a different perspective? Am I ready and willing to believe in a future I haven't lived yet? And here, the next issue can jump in, which is fear of change. If this version of you, like for Ingela, I'm not worthy of my dream life. If this version of you, where you walk around not feeling worthy of your dream life, if this is you, then who are you when you feel worthy of your dream life? What has changed? If your dream life actually is for someone like you, what is different? And do you carry a fear in this transition that something that you hold dear now will disappear in your new version of yourself? If this dream life isn't for someone like you, then who are you when you are worthy of this dream life? So, to whatever low limit that you're aware of right now, you can observe your body and see where you feel activated. And you can close your eyes to make it more simple. Is it your heart or your throat? Or is it your belly or somewhere else? And just breathe into the sensation with the intention that you're observing it so that it can change. And so I will say a few clearing statements, and you don't have to do anything to respond or analyze or understand. All I'm asking for you is to let go and trust my voice and just see how your body responds to my words, and trust that that is magic. So everywhere you have to work hard for money, we clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. Everywhere you aren't worthy of your dream life, we clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. You can breathe in deep, all of you, and trust that even if you didn't write your limitation in the box, you will get the transformation anyway. And notice your body, if the sensation grows stronger, softer, or if it moves. Anywhere you are attached to your old identity, an old story, we clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. What would it take for you to feel that you can work less and earn more? And everything that stands in the way of that, we clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. What would it take for you to know with so much deep safety, clarity, and know with so much love that you are meant for your dream life? And anything in the way of that, we clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. Like, I don't think that you would have a vision of your dream life if it wasn't meant for you. So, what would it take for you to let go of your old identity that holds you back? What would it take for you to believe that your dream life is an extension of you? It's the natural evolution of you. And everything that stands in the way of that would clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. And then you can connect to the light again and infuse your body with more light, more clarity, more love, more safety. Beautiful. And so every time you notice your lower limit, either as an emotional experience of something where you perhaps see someone super successful and react with jealousy, like that could be a lower limit. Um, and I bring this up because I do believe that so many more women are more jealous than they want to admit, because we're brought up to be good girls and good girls aren't jealous. But I believe that if you allow yourself to be jealous and transform it, your life is going to change. So that's a big thing I believe in. But your lower limit could also be attached to your behavior. Like some people, um, will let's take the house for an example. Some people will avoid to vacuum, forget to clean, and then the whole house is a mess, and then they clean it up because they're like, oh my God, I can't live in this mess. I have to tidy up. The lower limit was how dirty you allowed your house to become. While other people are constantly maintaining the home, constantly cleaning or having like this routine, so it never gets dirty, because they would never accept a lower limit where it's dirty. And the same goes for your money. Your lower limit might be how much you allow yourself to spend on things that you actually don't want, or how much you save. That's an upper limit. We're gonna get to that, but it can be very much um, associated with how you behave. Let's say you have a friend on the phone that is complaining a lot about things, and you listen and listen and listen and listen until you can't take it anymore, and then you hang up. While another person doesn't even answer the call because she's not accepting a lower limit than that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be there for your friends, but you know that there's friends and friends. And you have to be able to choose for yourself, what kind of life do you want to live? And so what happens then when you face a lower limit that is a direct result of your behavior, then it gets a bit more annoying, because then you have to grow up even more and take more responsibility over yourself to actually change. And then for me, my own experience is that to begin with energy work and work with the emotions help the transition into habits way easier. So let's say, Shani, that in your I make this up, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but in your lower limitation that more money requires more hard work and hard work will deplete me. So let's say then that you actually want to have more money. So you decide to take an extra job on top of the job you already have. So you're working really, really hard until you're so tired that you have to rest. Like that's one way of doing things. Or then realizing that I could apply for another job, or I could learn how to make money through a side hustle, or in my company, raise my prices, package things differently. Like realizing that somewhere in this image, I, with my habits, can do things differently. And then ask yourself, why does it feel so hard? And then we go into again, what is the emotions that come with this? Yeah, I'm afraid of disappointment. Not that much of a low density in the emotion, but still holding me back. Okay, awareness is the first step to any transformation. Huh, did I ever get disappointed before? So I'm attached to the idea of feeling disappointment. Yeah, actually, I have a trauma around disappointment. What tools do I have to shift that? Now I'm not afraid of disappointment anymore. I might apply for a new job. If I don't get it, I'll get the next one. So this is the constant going into your emotional experience of things, taking care of it. And the way I teach it with these clearing statements are really amazing. And then you can combine it with shaking or tapping and all of these things. So this is constant observation, intention setting, and releasing. That's the secret sauce to magic. So then we check with the upper limit. It goes for the same thing. It's your identity. It's your worldview. It's your relationship to money. Your identity. What am I worthy of? So let's say take Ingela's example here as an example. What is the most dreamiest parts of your life right now? When is it the best? And you can all think about that. What in your life is the most amazing parts? And then ask yourself, why is this the limit? What is hiding? So if we think about it, humans, we're conscious being, but always trapped in our own limitations. So even though we expand a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, there's always some kind of limitation here, and that's fine. But it's very healing to get curious about what happens with me if I expand my upper limit just a little bit. We don't have to do all or nothing, but we can expand and expand and expand and expand. So if your upper limit right now, the best versions of your days would become normal, what would then be the upper limit? So that's the goal of doing this work, is to eliminate the lower limits that you're really done with so that you can grow up to your upper limit. So that becomes the normal standard of your day. So then you can reach up and look at the next upper limit and be like, yeah, I'm curious about that. And then you choose if you're going to settle for a while and enjoy, or if you're going to continue to climb the mountain. And I'm all for enjoying. Like there's no rush in life. I don't see the purpose of rushing. So a common issue here is that we have a very strong consumption of media that shows us how limited all our resources is, how much tragical things are happening in the world. Your consumption matters. And also the people that you surround yourself with. So if you're around people that are comfortable with their current low limitations, maybe even comfortable with their pain. They don't want to change. They don't want to even believe that something else is different. That's going to influence you really negatively. And whatever you read in the news or what kind of accounts you follow, it's going to influence you a lot. Your consumption matters and will have an effect, direct effect on your upper limit. So awareness is the first step to any transformation. Another issue with your upper limit is that you're putting your goals on a pedestal. Like Ingela's example is really good. Like the dream life is for someone else, someone more whatever. And that's actually a really good thing to ask. Why is this so special? Who is this for? And see what is the ideas that are connected with your dream life that doesn't make it possible for you. Because when you start to influence yourself with people that are like-minded or even are at the stage where you want to go, it will help you to normalize things, and that will help you to move forward in a different way. So please take a moment and share with me some of your upper limits that you know that you have. It can be connected to your identity, worldview, relationship to money, or in general, like I make this amount of sales, but not more, or I have this flow and then I always get sick, or I go on 3 dates, but not more, or if you can connect it with money, whatever upper limits you can identify. I would love to read them. Or is it clear what an upper limit is? Or is it more difficult to grasp? Oh, this one, I feel it in the heart, CJ. Thank you. Big money only comes at a loss when you lose people, so perhaps at heritage or home. So you sell a place you love to receive money. And things come up in the way and hinder me to go forward. Mm. Thank you, Karina. So we can begin with this one, Siri. Big money only comes at a loss. Then the first question you can ask yourself, perhaps I'm sure you already know it, but questions are always so important to awaken the energies that we need to work on. So is this your own lived experience, or is it in your like generations back, or is it some things that you have seen? You have seen people get a lot of money when losing something. Lived experience. Then one important thing is to tend to the grief that comes with that and the double experiences that comes with that. Do you feel guilty enjoying the money? Are you afraid to touch them because it came with a cost? Like, is the money and the loss that intertwined? Because when we have this kind of, and this one is very common, and when we have this traumatic experience connected with money, one thing that can help is to divide the money, so make different kind of money. So this is the money connected to the story that we need to do grief work around and take care of. And forgiveness work around, like it wasn't your fault. And yeah, so here we have mother was always afraid I would spend it. A lot of fear put on me. Yeah, so then we have your own experience and energy that you got from your mother. And in the previous masterclass I had, I taught how to uh, clear and transmute these kind of energies that comes from others. But it's really important to understand that one part of my experience is my own, and one part was given to me by someone else, and that's two different things to process. So then we have in the work of this kind of upper limit, we have the lived experience trauma that needs its love and attention, and no rush in having like a deadline on healing these kind of things, but always tending with love, feeling it, loving it, feeling it, loving it. And at the same time, the fear from the mother, well, return back to sender. Here we can draw a line. Here we can practice boundaries, even if it's through time and space. Be like, yeah, this vibe was not mine to begin with. I return to sender. As a child, I picked it up, but I return to sender and really practice that. And mother is normally stored on the left side. Father is normally stored on the right side. And then a third thing to do in this case is to look at other types of money. So it's true that some money comes with loss, but that doesn't go for all money. So now here you have the opportunity to practice to expand your worldview. Okay, so what else is possible out there in the world? Not everyone got money from a big loss. What else is possible? To consume other realities, to understand that it could be a part of your reality too. Those people got money through this journey. What happens inside of me um, when I hear that? Either you get really inspired and just want to do the same thing, or you feel like, no, this is not my path, but still it shows a new way of doing things. What else is possible? So continue to ask questions until you see the things that truly inspire you. And one thing I always come back to the jealousy, because the best thing with jealousy is that it is the body screaming what your heart tried to whisper. So if you get really jealous of something, it's because they have something or are doing something that you want to explore and do as well. So that's a good sign that, okay, I should listen more to this person. Should learn more from this person, because obviously I'm reacting strongly. And yeah. And so we can do a final few transformational statements to increase your upper limit, and we do it all together in the group energy field. So you can inhale and exhale a few times, connect with your light. Spontaneously, you can ask yourself and see, what would I love to create? What would I love to experience? What kind of upper limit would I like to normalize? Like, just see whatever you want to. Just allow yourself to ask for it. I want to feel worthy of my dream life. I want money to be easy. I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel shiny, strong. I want to feel connected to the light all the time. I want to feel confident in my energy clearing. I want to feel confident in my money habits. I want to trust myself with money. Oof, I'm that woman. I'm that woman. I'm the woman of my dreams. Everything that stands in the way of you being the woman of your dreams, we clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. Everything that stands in the way of you being the woman of your dreams, we clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. And invite more light to your heart. Invite more light to your throat. What would it take for you to express yourself and your heart with love and ease and safety? And if you're sitting in a space where you feel comfortable, it's very helpful to shake your hands, shake your arms, maybe even shake your head or your feet to help the body drop all limitations that you no longer want to carry. Mm. And so, if you're new to energy work, very common thoughts that might appear is, can it really be that easy? Is it enough just saying things? And yeah, oh, Ivana is asking, how does frequency clearing work? So I love that question. So it's a combination of several things. And from my perspective, I'm sure there's more things to say which I haven't understood yet. But we just take it very, very simple. So let's say that we connect over a dinner, and throughout this dinner, maybe you had um, an argument with someone from the previous from the day with you to the dinner. So you feel like, "Ugh, I'm not my best self, but I'm gonna have a good time anyway." But during this dinner, I say something that you really love to hear that will change your frequency. Or perhaps you share a story with me that you really love to share, and I got really excited about that. So the previous issues that you had with you from the day resolves itself because the energy exchange in the moment is so amazing. And the same thing goes with this, that we practice observation of something that is stuck in the body, because our body is vibration, like the cells are built of atoms that are vibrating. And our emotion is uh, our emotions is the information about what kind of frequency we're in. Is it low vibe? uh, very like thick density where we move slow. Here is where we don't feel confident ourselves, where we doubt, where we are in low self-worth kind of experiences. And as we see them and hold them with love by using words, because words are very powerful, and by you feeling ready to let go, that's when you can transform the vibration into this. And we're always a mix of all different things. But the more you work with your vibration, the less of these things in different situations will appear. And the more naturally it will be to feel optimistic about the day when you wake up. And the more easy it will be to choose passion instead of fear. And so in this setting, when I say, uh, anything in the way of that. So, what would it take for Ingela to believe that she's worthy of her dream life? That's a question, that's a statement that will trigger the vibrations that are holding her back. And so, when I say clear and transmute that through all time, space, and reality, the intention is to release that from this life, other lifetimes, generational traumas, and here comes a little, um I don't even know how to frame it, but the more trust someone, if I'm the one holding space, and the more trust someone feels in me, the more the words will have an impact. And the more ready the person is to let go of their old story, the more of an impact it will have. And also, the more worthy we feel, the more of an impact it will have. And the more open we are to receiving help, the more impact this will have. So for a long time, I was practicing these clearing statements, and I didn't feel a lot. And it was bothering me so much because I believed it had so much potential. And I saw people do these statements and so cool things happen, but it didn't really happen much for me. And so I collected my money, I saved really hard, and then I hired one of the coaches teaching this. And at the time, I was paying 500 euros for one session, which was like a crazy amount, still a lot of money. But at that time, it was like, are you crazy? And just say to her in person, like, hey, I'm doing what you're telling me to do, but I don't feel that it's working. And she tuned into my field and she said, it's because you don't feel worthy of the transformation. So that makes it really hard. And then she worked with me for an entire hour just to clear old shadows of disbelief and unworthiness. And since then, the statements worked way better. But still, I practice and still I notice nuances of unworthiness, especially when I'm challenging myself and doing new things. I still get touches of it, and then I go in there and I give it love and I breathe it out. So that was as a quick and informative version of that that I could give you, and I hope it made sense. Or else you can ask a follow-up question. Mm. And so, thank you, Ivana. And so I don't have an offer ready to give you, but I just want to give you a heads up that if you get curious about these things, if you want to learn more about energy work and apply it to your money habits and learn to do what I do yourself, on yourself and to others, then keep an eye out on my Instagram, Spender Academy, and in my email for when I will launch a 3 months program. So you get to learn to do this yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will stop the recording, and if anyone has any questions, I'll stay for a few more minutes. Thank you.